Okay, good morning, everybody. We've been talking about this for a little while. We got this deck together in between rounds of Saturday's challenge. It was really impressive, and it was good enough that I wanted to start with it one day this week on stream, and today is that day. Okay, let's get the chest cold open. Done. Good morning, Spikelings. It is I, Stormbringer, bringer of all that is good to MTG, aspiring Spike, and welcome to my Shark Typhoon. Today we're going to show the world the power of the card draw in Storm by adding the One Ring and Grapeshotting our way to all the wins. Watch as our opponent's live total go up in flames. You know the rest. Enjoy the deck. Sweet pilot by a great player. And if you like to see Subfall, etc., plays Clothis. Okay, so Blue-Red Storm is a deck that has been waxing and waning in viability and popularity in Modern's history. There are actually several cards on the Modern ban list that are there because of this deck. Seething Song, and one mana Rite of Flame. Rite of Flame are like the two main ones that come to mind. Two very, very powerful rituals that don't exist because of the Storm possibilities, mostly with, Past and Flames. There's been like a little bit of a resurgence in the archetype lately, which has been, it's basically been this list. Okay, I'll say this, like more or less, oh, hold on. More or less, when you build Storm, like, you're not changing. When you build Gift Storm, there's like a big chunk of the deck you're basically never changing. The Barals, the Electromancers, the Rituals, like 2 or 3 Grapeshot. In this deck, you play 8 Rituals, some people play less. You play 4 Manamorphose, 4 Preordain, sometimes you play 8 other cantrips. Like, there's not a lot you mess with the formula, but there was a player in, I believe, a European tournament who was playing 4 main deck Spikefield Hazard to help deal with Orcish Bowmaster and hit your land drops, and they were also main decking 4 Flame of Anor, which is a card that gets discounted by your mana creatures, and both of your mana creatures, Baral and Electromancer, are wizards. This is also a strategy I had tried off stream even before like the deck had come out, but I didn't like it very much. I felt that Flame of Anor was only good when your Baral or Electromancer lived, and in this deck, when your Baral and Electromancer live, you are winning the game a ton of the time already, and Flame of Anor was not very good when my mana creatures did not live. We still have a couple copies of the sideboard, figuring it out, but, despite that, Gift Storm has started to make a little bit of resurgence with, like, the Flame of Anor deck. And then I was, like, watching Spider Space on Everose's stream, I think, and he was talking about how he had played a prison deck with the One Ring and Rituals, and how good it was to ritual out the One Ring in the prison deck. Like, just play the ring on turn 2 with your Rituals. I'm like, wow, that sounds great. What if we played the ring in a deck with Rituals that didn't suck? Storm. This is also a deck that plays the 8 Rituals, but is actually capable of like winning a game of Magic instead, unlike Mono Red Prison, and so this is an idea I've had for like a little while, and we finally got around to it last Saturday in between rounds of the challenge, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Not only is like Ritual out the ring on turn 2 or turn 3 a very, very strong play, but The ring is just such a perfect card in the Storm deck. Like for the longest time, Storm played like pieces of the puzzle, an awful like common that like looks at the top 5. You get 2 instant sorceries from those revealed into your hand, because like powerful sorcery speed card draw is at such a premium here. A card draw engine that isn't tied to your mana creatures and is resilient and buys you time is just like such a perfect addition to this archetype, that when we were playing with it on Saturday, it just was like, it was one of the most impressive ring decks we've played, I think, and it's also like just fits into the archetype super well. And then beyond like the ring just being a great inclusion into the archetype, beyond the ring being like, obviously the ring, ring's good, beyond all that, Storm is also like weirdly well positioned at the moment, with Omnath becoming the deck to beat, or one of the decks to beat. The Omnath matchup is like about as good as it gets with this list. Okay, on the play. Keep this. I'm going to be looking, I think, pretty aggressively for another Ritual to just play a turn 2 ring again. Spawn on both of these. up against. Darkslick Shores. I haven't seen the blue-black control deck in a little while, although I don't think they usually play Shores. Maybe they play some number. I think of Flame of Anor in the archetype. I think it's awful in the main deck. I think it's a fine sideboard card. I know this is like the new tech. I was playtesting it off stream and found it to be, like just like weirdly pointless. It was like only good when you had a Baral or Electromancer in play, but like, I think at the very least I think it's a lot worse than the Wondering. Essence Flux, huh? Take one of my 2 remands and a ritual. See what we draw. Let's go ahead and just stick that, I think. I think 1 main for gifts might be useful. If you can like maybe describe a situation that you're gonna like that you're going to gifts for Flame of Anor game 1, I'd like to hear it. But as far as I can kind of think, it's just not going to happen often enough to want it. So we draw a land or another ritual, we can cast our ring. Oh boy. Maybe the value gifts you were doing before? I don't know, but like, I suppose. I feel like game 1, like, do you need another card for the value gifts? Maybe as a 1-up for gifts, but it's also, I'm not sure what you'd cut. All right, let's try again. Bowmaster maybe, Spell Pierce, sure. Man, Scam Grief, Thoughtseize, Spell Pierce, pretty good. Okay, good shit. Flame of Anor looks really good here. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm telling you, I've tested it and I was not very impressed by it. Something like this. Could try to Blood Moon them on the play. Let's not. Bear with the 7 months. Thank you. Maybe just Grief is broken. Yeah, I've been in favor of banning Grief for a little while now. Just feel like all the worst games in Modern involve Scam Grief. Pierce isn't good here. What would you cut for Pierce? Because it's very difficult here. My opponent's playing counterspells, but they're also playing discard, where Spell Pierce is bad against discard. It's better against counterspells. And I think it is a tough card to board in against this like weird hybrid deck. These like blue-black shadow decks, blue-black scam, it's like it kind of doesn't get worse for you as Storm, where their deck is just all discard and counter spells all the way down. It's a tough matchup. The Elementals are going to be in MH3. They said they're reprinting the Incarnations in MH3. I haven't heard that before. Kind of weird. Maybe Flames of Remand. Yeah, maybe. They didn't say that, but they will. Okay, so it's just like random Twitch chatter speculation. Gotcha. Just chatters chatting. They didn't say this or do anything to imply it, and have never like reprinted former Modern Horizons staple. Or I guess they did. No, they did. They reprinted like Urza and stuff in MH2 as like the like collector stuff, or, like Force Negation, fancy. Yeah, it came to me in a dream. I don't know. They also like reprinted Twin and banned it like 2 weeks later or something, or banned it right before the reprints came out, something like that. Just not like a great point usually. Take an Electromancer. Might have a Force of Negation. They have a Grief? Maybe they're just chilling. Well, I don't know what's going on with that long pause. I'm gonna try to be just a bit better about not reading so much into them, and hope this resolves. Nice that if they have a Bowmaster, we've got some Spikefields here. But my Fortification read, like, what is happening today? We register Storm and we play against, like, this is like this. We played against the Esper deck that's playing Leyline of the Void, Thoughtseize, Fortification, Counterspell, Spell Pierce, and now we're playing against the Thoughtseize, Scamgrief, Fortification, Tyrannodlock, Counterspell deck. It's like, golly, dude. You really need the Fortifications too? God. Oh, man. Yeah, the metagame is adjusting. Oh, just Evoking Grief. I don't know. We'll take the 2-for-1s though, I guess. Draw third Baral. Kind of gross. They might have a removal spell for Baral, and they are I guess I should play Spikefield Hazard so I can cast a Ring or a Gifts if they kill my Baral. Guess he doesn't want to fold to the Ring. I mean, I don't know. Like, your deck has already a ton of cards that answer the Ring, but it's okay. It's fine. It's not. It's just tough. Togo with the 99. Thank you. Yeah, the Ring is well positioned, guys. Q's into anti-combo card brew. Might still win, but we did beat the other deck that was like, you know, Leyline, Fortifications, you know, just all interactive cards all the way down. Have a lot of good top decks here. MT for 4 goblins. I mean, it kills the grief. It's probably a bit better than the average draw here. You can do better. I can do worse too. I think it's enough better than the average card that I'm just gonna keep it. Right, they got no cards left in their hand. Bowmaster good against this though. Is there a reason people don't play Gifts in Twiddle? Well, Gifts is usually mostly good with the mana reducers. So it's kind of tough to be in on the mana reducers and on Twiddle. It's possible that there is a good like pile out there though. Guess Passive Flames is becoming a really good top deck. Yeah, yeah, 2 mana empty, huh? So let's resolve this. I'm definitely getting a Passive Flames. I am almost definitely getting another Gifts. And then I just get Ritual Manamorphose or Ritual. And then they have to graveyard. I guess they can give me Ritual Passive Flames or something. That would be okay. Ritual seems fine. I can also get like Spikefield Hazard or Grapeshot. Yeah, let's get Grapeshot. Grapeshot, this is a card that they have to graveyard, and I want it in the graveyard anyways. And I could also get Spikefield Hazard, which would kill the Bowmaster, which is really nice. That's probably okay too. We only have 1 Ritual in the yard. I maybe need 1 more Ritual to... Yeah, I think I just need 1 more Ritual in the mix, but... Spikefield could have been fine. Not Ring plus something else. Well, Ring is kind of awkward into this Bowmaster, right? Passive Flame, 2 Ritual Manamorphose. Oh, just the standard pile every single time. Ah, the standard pile every time, of course. I don't know. It doesn't feel like... I feel like I want another Gifts really badly. I want to be able to, like... If my opponent top decks a... I can't combo here. If my opponent top decks a Counterspell, I want to be able to, you know... beat that Counterspell. Like here, like, if they counter Passive Flames, I can just flash it back. No, Lucy. No, please. Oh, she's just adjusted. Okay, that's fine. Kind of surprised they main phased it. Guess they're a little worried about Remand. Although they know my hand. Storm traditionally dumpsters Tron. Yeah, you're good Tron matchup. Good Titan matchup. Good Hammer matchup. Probably a good Yawgmoth matchup too. Hey, this game is over. I don't. Come on, let's get through this trigger, opponent. Let's get through the trigger. Come on, come on. It feels nice to beat, you know, double Bowmaster, double Grief, double Thoughtseize, Force of Negation. Then we have to play game 3. All right, the trigger has resolve. Now, can we get to my turn? Almost there. Almost there. I think I'm gonna Spikefield Hazard the Bowmaster. Let's see. Should be safe enough to flash back a Gifts. Manamorphose, Ritual, empty. Okay, storm count is 8 at the moment. We'll be able to kill him here. Flashback. I guess I just flashback the Past in Flames. Although people have been giving me the wrong pile all day. I think they think the UI maybe is not super intuitive, and people aren't used to resolving against gifts. I mean, it feels good. Like one of these griefs was not. They didn't scam the other grief. They hardcast a grief, evoked a grief, had a really relevant turn of Force of Negation, double Thoughtseize, double Bowmaster. Feels good to win anyways. Flame of Anor is pretty bad against Bowmaster. It's a way for us to kill Grief. I'm going to go back up to 2 Grapeshots. How does Yasmo Food Deck do against Yawgmoth and Scam? I think it's pretty good against Scam. Urza Saga decks in general are pretty good against Scam. You can lose to like Hidetsugu Consumes All sometimes, and you can lose to Voidwalker. Mostly, Voidwalker is mostly tough because it's like a pain to kill early because you can't like use Daredevils. And it's like pretty fast clock that you can't block. I would say that you're favored. The Yawgmoth matchup is unfavorable for food. It's a lot better if you main deck a Pithing Needle. It usually becomes a lot better, but now with Agatha's Soul Cauldron in the mix, it's like even tougher for just to cheese them with that plan. It's like if Asmo could kill Yawgmoth, food would be like massively favored, but Yawgmoth just randomly has pro humans. Fire Ice was being a play. Yeah, Fire Ice is fine. I think I would much rather play the One Ring in that flex spot though, and you could play it over Spikefield Hazard maybe. But I think I like Spikefield. I've been liking Spikefield Hazard a lot. You could do like a 2-2 split maybe. Yeah, I'm also kind of thinking third Grapeshot could be good too. It's gonna be tough. Yeah, the remands are seeming kind of dopey. I don't know. It's close. Okay, nice to have a solid empty hand. We're probably going to play this first Spikefield as a land. When opposed to having a Patreon like other creators, you could do the deck tech thing there. I would just, like, I don't know, for me, I think my time is better served making good stream and by proxy YouTube content. It's like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm at the point where I just want like as many eyes on my stuff as possible, and so like putting like the highest quality stuff and the stuff I spend the most time on behind a paywall just feels a bit weird at this point in my career. I certainly get the appeal, and I think it's like Patreon is a really good tool for some creators, but for me, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense at the moment. This hand does nothing. It maybe makes 6 goblins if your opponent F6 your turn. Well, I do get to draw a new card every single turn. My opponent is also playing a million 1-for-1s, and so it's a hard matchup to mulligan in. Yeah, I get to what this is I don't know, very funny. I draw any ritual here. If I draw any ritual, like, we're just at a spot where I get to go Goblin Electromancer, ritual, they push in response. Then I get to go ritual empty and have 10 goblins, which wins the game. 6 goblins might even win the game, despite you know, talking bad about it. Oh, Jegantha in hand here. They've been, like, just main phasing these. They have a lot of draws. Usually looking at strength of an opening hand. You can't be like, I might draw something. I don't think it's a bad keep. I think it needs a little help. I mean, it sure seemed like you thought it was a bad keep when you said this hand does nothing. I don't know. It's okay. But I actually super disagree that when you say usually when looking at strength of a hand, you can't be like, man, I might draw something. You absolutely need to think about, like, how strong is your average draw here? Because you are going to get a card every turn, and, like, this hand does not need very much to be very strong. Some hands do need too much help, and you have to ship it back. But this hand barely needs anything. I'd even wait another turn here. I don't know. Let's see on this. I feel like they didn't know about my empty makes things tough here. They did not read Spikefield Hazard today. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for 8 goblins here. It's just too tough if I commit both here. But I can Manamorphose can rebuild if they have an explosives or something. Man, 1 mana, give your opponent 2 goblins, lose 2 life. pretty tough. When I hazard in turn, I want to cast hazard on my turn for storm count. Big Manamorphose. I think I just play Baral and pass. Could Spikefield Hazard the Grief also? But then I could do that next turn and then net 2 goblins. Let's do it now. Well, it's a bit more likely to resolve. I guess I could have played it on Spell Pierce. Okay, I just concede though. Okay, it feels very good to beat the Thoughtseize, Force of Negation, Grief, Spell Pierce, Counterspell, Drown in the Lock, Orcish Bowmaster deck. Feels good. What was cut for Ring? You usually have a flex spot in Storm. Some people play Fire Ice. People have been... Alright, let's keep this. We have the Grapeshot if we have a Bowmaster or something, so we can just play this turn 1. We draw a Ritual, we get to play a turn 2 Ring, which is great. Is that the official deck name for coverage? It's on twitch.tv/aspiring spike, it is. Yeah, some people play 8 cantrips. You could play 8 cantrips. Forest Go. Against Forest Go, let's play a Electromancer. Rafine's Tower. Forest, Rafine's Tower. Do you like this more than Twiddlestorm? I have been liking it more than Twiddlestorm. It's like you have 2 really, really good 4-mana engine cards in this deck, and you're not, like, super weak to Blood Moon in a way that Twiddlestorm is, or, like, has been in my experience recently. Okay, it'd be better if they have a Leyline Binding. But also this is 4 colors, so just your best matchup by a lot, and they have just no pressure. It's like you have Ring and Gifts as 2 really, really good card advantage engines. Gifts is not very good in Twiddlestorm. It's much easier in this deck to play a turn 2 Ring than in Twiddlestorm. In Twiddlestorm, you have to, like, Lotus Field and lose your Lotus Field to play a turn 2 Ring. This deck can do it a lot easier. The Ring is better in Twiddlestorm because you can twiddle it, of course, but, I mean, people just don't bounce the Ring. You know, I'm drawing a lot of cards here, right? Let's see. Could do a lot of things here. I think with all these Ring cards, it makes sense to be kind of proactive. I could also just play 2 creatures. Just play 2 creatures pass seems kind of fine too. Not really any bad plays. Let's do this. How often did you get to the battlefield? Not that often. It'll happen most often to get scam. They don't have a threat in play. Why do they care about protection? It's not the protection. It's that they're just giving me 2 cards instead of like, okay, now I've only, instead of like making me spend my whole next turn to replay the ring if my hand is bad, and I draw 1 less card instead of just like letting this kind of get out of control. But I guess they're maybe just more scared about me comboing, which, you know, fair enough. Man, this matchup is, and this is certainly part of the dynamic of this matchup. I'm going to kill the Teferi so I could maybe draw a Remand at some point in this turn. The dynamic of this matchup is that it's just so tough. You put so much pressure on them, and they don't play a lot of counter magic, and their clock is super slow, and they just have a hard time. Okay, we'll go for standard pile here. Does it really matter what colors we make because we're just going to cast the Past in Flames off of it? Oh, sorry, I forgot that it costs 1 less. Okay, fine. Just killing him. Yeah, I guess I could have spliced him. It's like we must have to win this turn. Yeah, of course we do. This is your best matchup, and if you are struggling to beat the Omnath Menace, I encourage you to play a deck like this. If not, you know, literally this deck. Yeah, splice from hand only, but we could have spliced from hand that turn. I think I'm gonna bring in the Blood Moons. Could play like a Spell Piercer too, I guess. Seems like a fine matchup to go down to 2 Grapeshot. Let's play like 2 Spell Pierce, 2 Moon. Yeah, like I get why they bounced my creature, because like it's just so scary to let Storm on tap with a Baral, but it puts them in a tough spot. Yeah, I don't really keep up with Legacy too much. I agree that Storm with Beseech looks very cool, and I wish I was a little bit more in tune with Storm and could work on it some, but I'm sure there are plenty of good Storm pilots working on it. Oh, sorry, I meant to cut a Grapeshot, not a Ritual. Oops. Can someone explain what Splice does? I can't remember my head around why it's useful with Ritual. So it's just good with, if you have 2 Rituals, you get an extra mana, basically. So if you have 2 Rituals in hand, you can spend 4 mana, Splice, make 6, and then you still keep another one in your hand. You can Ritual again have 7 mana. Or 8 if you have a Baral. As opposed to just like regular Rituals, you would have 1 less cast, basically. And like if you have 2 of them, it doubles it up with only costing you 1 card, and that's kind of a weird effect. I'll keep both of these, I think. Can you Goryo X2 with Splice? You can. I've never done it. I've played a lot of Goryos. It has never come up. The good old Rafine's Tower Ridden 6 deck. Flame of Anor is interesting. Even though it's 3 mana, hasn't seen play yet. In this deck, I've played in the main deck. I didn't like it. I think it's an okay sideboard card. Kind of want to go down to 2, even though I have 3 at the moment. Could play a 3rd Blood Moon instead, maybe. I also really like that it feels like there is room to actually play Dragon's Claw and help the bird matchup, which is usually pretty tough. Flame of Anor is a very, very good card in Modern, though. Like, there's lots of decks that are like built around it, you know, and have been finding success. But okay, let's cycle at least 1 Manamorphose here, looking for some mana. Didn't find it, so let's go back. This 3 Grapeshot felt like too many. I was playtesting 2 at first, and I feel like I've liked the 3rd. You can board them out in some matchups too, of course. Did not find any mana. I think instead of going to discard, I'll play a Baral. I think Flame of Anor is good or just too cute. It's fine. It's people always expect new tech to be also like super. Oh, they are playing counterspells in the deck. They expect new tech like Flame of Anor to be like this really important fucking like big game changer, but it's just like kind of optimal in some metagames to play Flame of Anor, you know. Burn isn't as bad as most of them are playing out. That is a good point, yeah. Not as bad as it used to be. Maybe they're not playing Red and 6. Still no land. Feels pretty unlikely that we can ritual out a Blood Moon here successfully. I think we'll just play the Electromancer and be fine with that eating the counterspell instead of my Blood Moon. Opponent F6 through their turn. I've gone. I had 2 lands in my opening hand. I did keep 2 non-lands off the Preordain, I guess, but they're pretty good ones. Just jamming here. Looks like it's resolving. Whoa! Chalice on 2. Holy shit. Holy shit. What a gamer. So I guess we're bringing in Flame of Anor. We can't win also. Still no land. Okay, we can't win. Wow. That sucks. So maybe we cut the Spell Pierces. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Spell Pierces actually seems pretty good against their version. They're like way more counterspell heavy than I kind of anticipated. Blood Moon seems really good. This is maybe a matchup where you want to trim on the rings. They seem like they probably have a good amount of answers for rings. They have a lot of counterspells. They have binding and stuff. They're also a Bowmaster deck somehow. How do we keep finding all of the counterspell Bowmaster decks today? Of course. The day we queue into Storm. Oh, the Jegantha. I did forget about Jegantha. I think the problem with like bringing in empty is like we're already like pretty over sideboarded. Like maybe I just need to cut all the rings. No, Remand I think Remand looks very good against them. I also want to get more Spikefield hazards in. I can maybe cut like a Canal or a Steam Vents. Maybe we could trim a Ritual. Guess all the Bowmaster counterspell decks, I guess, yeah, for sure. Repeal is important in the board here. Is it? Is it? We have Flame of Anor for Chalice. I don't really feel like there's enchantments. I want to be like, there's not almost any rest in pieces in the metagame. Minamo with no ring. I mean, I guess we could have cut Minamo instead. You're fine if you drew a 3rd land arrow. Yeah. I mean, we are not like losing to these decks, which is, you know, a good sign for the strategy, but it is certainly tough. Let's hold up Remand. Yeah. Repeal is like one of these like really like I'm gonna feel super smart kind of cards that I don't usually love. Yeah, I don't have Otawara. We could be playing Otawara. I'm you know, we have to play Blood Moons on the side, so I'm not sure, like, you could cut, like, a Spirebluff Canal for it, could cut the 4th Stevens, maybe, but you need to keep, like, 6 fetches, I think. Thank you, someone, Bust, for the 9 months. My vote would be the Vince, yeah. I think it could be fine. Like, it's nice because it answers. I don't know. There's not that many main deck Chalices, and you're not that scared of Chalice on 1, and Chalice on 2 is really slow. But you could play it. Okay, Binding is pretty good here. I don't know that I'm supposed to do anything in response. They just get to Binding again, and then I think having Remand up for Chalice on 2 is nice, and I could just fire off a Gifts end of turn. Up the beanstalk, huh? Kind of bad if they have Logic Knot if I don't respond with Gifts. Doesn't feel like I should be remanding here. Yeah, I tested Breach in the past in Storm and ended up feeling like Past in Flames is still the better direction, surprisingly. Okay, so now we got double Baral Remand up, which are upgraded into also coming with a loot. Alright, so let's go. If we remand this to get to draw a card again. Tough stuff. Kind of wanted the land. I don't think I want this land. Weird game. Kind of a fun game. I just Gifts in response. Let this see the counter spell, then maybe I can have like a mini Grapeshot this turn. Maybe it resolves. So I really just don't want to play another creature. I feel like it's gonna get killed and they're gonna bean again, potentially. So I think I'm gonna grab Grapeshot, Ritual, Pass in Flames. And they give me Ritual. Okay, well this time we have the Flame of Anor. So if they don't have Force, we could maybe be in good shape. So I can make 3, 4, 5 mana. I might need to pass. Cause can I do Remand Grapeshot here? Cause I can kill the Teferi with the first Grapeshot, but is that even enough? So I can go Ritual, 5, 6 mana. And also Spikefield Hazard first for another Storm. Can't you win? Well, there's Teferi is stopping me from remanding the Grapeshot, but if I kill Teferi with the Storm counters, then maybe I can win. So maybe I could cast Manamorphose first. Can't remand. I can remand if this dies to the Storm, but then I have to Storm for a lot more. So Storm count is currently 1. Let's say that I make 5 mana here. 3, 4, 5. So I'm 1 mana short of replaying the other Grapeshot anyways. So let's say I do draw exactly another Ritual of this Manamorphose, then Storm count will be 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not even enough to kill the Teferi. Oh, sorry, it is because of the Storm. So, but I don't kill them. We should just pass. We should just pass the turn. I was counting the land drop. What if we pass first? If we cast Pass in Flames, we can flash nothing back. So it's just pass. Rit, Pass in Flame, Rit. If I Rit, I have 4 mana, play land, 5 mana, flashback 5. I have nothing left. I had to use 3 mana on the Flame of Anor here. They bounced the Binding. Can't do anything here because it's a fairy. Oh, they're shocking down the 10. It's actually kind of a big deal. Okay, let's lead on this. Scalding pretty good. So Storm count is 2. 3, 4, 5. We win. Well, yeah, we can win if they have nothing. Doesn't seem like a great strat necessarily. We could wait another turn if we wanted to. Storm count is currently 2. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm supposed to Manamorphose. Land off Manamorphose is pretty tough. Can I go? So I go Ritual 3, Ritual 4, 5. But they'll just counter the first spell I flash back. Yeah, I don't think it's getting a lot better though. You can hit Teferi for 2 and still remand. Yeah, I mean if they just counterspell the remand though. Could that still be the best line? I think it's probably better than going for Past in Flames, since this loses to like any graveyard hate, it loses to like Spell Pierce. Alright, well. Be very unlikely for them to not have a counterspell here, but we're definitely a lot better against the other version of 4-color. Much worse against this this build they got. So they counter the remand. I mean, I guess we're not dead either though. We can like still untap and try to cast this Past in Flames. Maybe I should have killed the Bowmaster. I don't know. Probably should have, yeah. Why did we same targets to Teferi? I don't think I did. I think I sent exactly 2 points at the Teferi for what it's worth. Quad beans, huh? Chalice on 2. Probably. Like, I do have more Flame of Anors in the deck. So I go 5 mana flashback, Past in Flames, and then nothing resolves. We're dead. Oh, we're dead to the hall. Yeah, tough stuff. Make sure they see their home. We did the game differently. It was a hard game. Not really sure what else we could have done. Yeah, on the draw. A good game though. Wonder what the mill matchup is like. It's probably awful. I feel like we're playing against a lot of like very obscure decks that happen to be very good against us. Like Esper Reanimator we did win that game. We also beat the Dimir Shadow deck, there wasn't playing Shadow, but we're playing against like 4-color counterspells, blue-black with Bowmaster, Scam Grief, million counterspells, mill. It's kind of tough. Probably supposed to jam Baral. Yeah, the leagues especially are a bit Wild Westy for sure. Although we did lose to Hammer, which I think is a pretty good matchup. That's with a well-timed reprieve. For them, they don't set up your graveyard as long as no Tasha's. Though they set up your graveyard as long as no Tasha's. I mean, they're just gonna kill you pretty dang quick. Like they play a good amount of interaction too. It's tough. Our rings are also like worse, probably like close to at their worst tier. Maybe they're not so bad, but they don't seem so good either. Yeah, if they have like surgical on Grapeshot, we just can't win. Need to board in at least one empty, I guess. Yeah. Kind of weird they just let it resolve. Like that was almost certainly incorrect, but whatever. It worked out fine for them, I guess. Mill sounds good in a Beans meta. Yeah, Mill's probably okay. So he is pretty bad against Scam, but it's kind of tough to be good against Scam and Beans, I guess. We did mill over a Past in Flames, although we are a little far away from flashing it back at the moment. Storm is not a fun deck to watch. Why are you watching, homie? Storm is not a fun deck to watch. Please, please, you know, watch something else if you're not having a good time. I will play other decks later that maybe you'll enjoy more. Three, four, five. Still a little short, huh? I think I'm going to ritual out Ring. We have the Minamo, and we know they have Jace in their hand, which gets stopped by the Ring protection. Finding a land or ritual would be really nice. Awesome. It's good to see for RCQ. I feel like it's okay in the RCQ meta, but you have to be really comfortable navigating around Murktide, I think. That's like one really tough thing. Ooh, Ancestral Recall. So this crab does get blocked by the Ring. So you're getting milled for 3 more here. We know they have a Jace, which is also stopped by the Ring. Is there too much removal for the Storm Creature deck to be viable? Well, obviously the removal on the creature stinks, but that is not, you know, you can win even if your Baral dies. And the Ring, I think, really helps with, like, fighting the interactive opponents. I think we've drawn too many 4-drops to tank a Tasha's here, although I suppose it's maybe possible. They started to play something and then stopped, so... You would think that if they had, you know, maybe they thought that they could Jace or something. I think it's going to be very unlikely we can play around interaction, although this is pretty nice. Archive Trap, we're dead. Well, we haven't shuffled, have we? So, should we... even bother flashing back Passion Flames? If we flash back Passion Flames, it costs 4, and if they counter, we just win with double Grapeshot. So seems fine. Alternatively, yeah, let's just put flash back. They have nothing. Well, they have Jace and some mystery cards. The Jace is blanked by the Ring, so it seems like whatever their card was, it was blanked by the Ring. Sorry if this isn't fun to watch. I'll try to move on to your pet deck as quick as possible. Yeah, well, it would be the Flusterstorm, but this is game 1, so it's not very likely. Flusterstorm is also just not that hard to beat. They could have, like... Crypt Incursion or something. Could remand a Crypt Incursion. Ever consider streaming amulet? I mean, I mostly am just trying to stream decks that I'm innovating on. Like, I've never seen anybody play the One Ring and Blue Red Storm. It's been good in our testing, and I'm trying to innovate here. And not everybody's gonna like every deck. That was always allowed. That's always okay. If you don't like the deck I'm playing at the moment, you know, I hope one day I play a deck that you are interested in watching. But saying the deck I'm playing is boring is, you know, boring to watch is, you know, poor etiquette, I think. Poor etiquette to go into any Twitch stream and say, streamer, what you're doing is boring. Just, I know that not everyone's going to like what I'm watching. Just simply watch something else. I think we trim a Gifts. Oh, we could just maybe go up to like 62, 63. Maybe like 63 with like 64 with the hazards. Because usually you mostly care about keeping a good ratio of lands and spells. I think on the play I want the Blood Moons in. Can maybe even be like more in on empty than rings. Like 2 rings, 4 empty, 64 cards, 4 Spikefields. Do this. Yeah, I think trimming ring is fine. Haven't you said there are decks who stop playing because your viewers didn't find them interesting? Well, there's a difference between overall... Like, I know when people don't find a deck is interesting because my viewers are super low. My viewers are not super low today. There's enough people here interested to stream. The dynamic of this stream, my stream, is no matter what deck I play, there's always going to be a group of players who don't enjoy watching the archetype. That's what happens when you are a Magic streamer who streams every single archetype, no restrictions, you know. So we have enough 4-drops, probably. I'm going to bottom both of these. Could maybe keep the Passive Flames on top so it gets a mill, but then we'd also have to keep the ring. That's just what happens. And so, like, there's no deck that I've ever played that, like, some group of the audience isn't that interested in watching. But I know when people aren't interested because I see what the viewer count is. The invasion deck goes viable. It's not like a super competitive deck, but it's kind of crazy when it goes off, and it's, you know, like F&M playable, League playable. Daru, tier 1, thank you. They're extirpating my Spikefield hazards. What the fuck? This must be a misclick. This literally must be a misclick. You ever get a deck where you're very excited with your cards? Well, yeah, that happens sometimes. But another thing, too, is, like, if I'm excited to play a deck, like, this is, like, the most excited I've been to play a deck in a little while. Like, maybe since, like, the Heliod thing. I guess that was just the other day. But I'm really excited to stream this deck today. I'm okay to, like, play a deck that I really enjoy and I'm really interested in playing for a stream. And if the viewer count's low for a stream, that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's not that uncommon for something like this for that to happen. But just injured. I'm telling you, I'm when I tell you that it's bad etiquette to go into a stream and say that the stream is boring, I'm not saying it for me so much as I'm saying it for other streamers you might interact with. This is gonna get you, like, negative. This is gonna be a negative experience for you here on Twitch. If you go into streamers' chats, you say what you're watching is boring, you are going to get yelled at. You're gonna get, you know, it's gonna be bad for you. It's gonna be bad for the streamer. It's gonna be a bad time for you. I encourage you to improve your Twitch etiquette. Wow. Well, I guess I can clearly combo. I really want a Gobbo, though. I mean, I can go, like, I'm not super bothered by it, but I just really want to try to encourage people to, you know, have better internet etiquette, you know, to be better. Yeah, I don't think that they have a surgical, but with them, if they're going up to 3 cards, they can't even go. I guess they could have bridge land 1-drop, or still, like, beating that even. Could have been lethal if you gifted for him. Yeah, we definitely had deterministic lethal here. I'm just thinking that, like, they could have still surgical extraction somehow, and that I maybe just want to, like, goblins instead because I'm not really sure that they can beat this. Maybe, like, land damnation, but it did seem like they really didn't have the surgical, so maybe we should just gone for the gifts kill. I bring an E against gifts, yeah, maybe this was probably a little bit worse. Still seems unlikely we're going to lose. Okay, they don't have another black for damnation. I think I was one short of deterministic. That's not true. I at one point had, like, 6 mana plus Baral plus gifts, right? That should be enough, I thought. I think because I drew the extra Manamorphose, I had enough. Okay, so they're going to try to cycle into explosives. Ignite Memories in the sideboard. I've never really understood what it is the Ignite Memories is supposed to be good against. Is it supposed to be good against, like, 4-color? Because I know we just lost to 4-color, but we lost to 4-color, like, that I think currently sucks. I think that card is just like the worst fucking card you could play. It like just lines up against nothing well. Lines up against literally nothing well, and like it like there's not like so many Leyline of the Voids that you really like. That's the only card it's kind of good against, but it's like you can just beat Leyline of the Void anyways, especially with the ring in your deck. It's especially playing the leagues, it's really hard to know if your opponent has Leyline or not. It's like, it's just a nightmare. Rhinos and Saga. Against Rhinos, you're not trying to like interact with the board, I think that you are, or a Saga either. Like, we're not trying, I don't like to play Storm in a way that I'm just trying to like play a fair game where I'm interacting with their board. I'm like really happy if my opponent's like tapping out to Rhinos, because I can just kill them, you know, for the most part. Say Mill sometimes plays. Oh, Mill sometimes plays Echoing Truth, I see. Okay, we have hit the 4-color matchup here. I think we're gonna hold up Remand. It does kind of look like maybe I'm Murktide here, and so like they could just like slam it to Fairy pretty easy, and then I untap and likely kill them if they don't have Solitude. Was that luck or skill beating them handily considering it was a bad matchup? I mean, maybe the matchup's not as bad as I thought, but usually maybe a combination of both. I mean, they also just like threw away. They like misclicked on their extra paid. I don't know if I could really congratulate myself too much on this victory. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too likely that they can remove my Electromancer here for me to go super in. I'm just gonna hold up the Remand for now, and if if they binding, I'll cycle the Remand and they'll binding again, and we'll move on. What makes Storm good again? Preordain and the One Ring, and this deck being popular. Monkey, Dude, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Hope you're doing well. So see if they... Oh, they might not be able to... I think if they have a Hallowed Fountain, they can pending again. How to beat Leyline? Is it using empty in sideboard games? So you're just going to, like, Grapeshot them, Remand Grapeshot. You're going to draw a lot of cards and storm them. Like, you just don't go for your deterministic... Your passive Flames lines. But there's, like, plenty of, like, ways to just get a critical massive storm and kill them. And the One Ring is really good at getting you to that necessary critical mass. Okay, so let's just hold up Gifts/Remand here. I would Remand a One Ring or like a Bring to Light, but I wonder if I might Remand Teferi. I might let Teferi resolve too. It's a pretty juicy target. Monkey with the gifted sub, thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's okay to be a little sassy. Again, I don't know. I mostly went in that tirade because I don't know, a lot of people have this attitude, and like a lot of like other content creators I talk to, they're like they really have this attitude that Twitch chat is just this unmanageable beast, and it's just like so hard to have productive conversations. And it has really been my experience that if chat is like acting bad, or like I don't know, if there's like an etiquette issue or whatever, I feel like I've done a good job addressing it, and because I do this, we have good productive Magic conversations every single day. It's awesome. I think I have enough resources to go for no creature kill here. We have like good productive Magic conversations every single day, and it just wouldn't happen if I just like sat here in pain. What's the reason behind letting Omnath hit the board? I'm just gonna kill them. I don't fucking care about this Omnath. I want to cast the Gifts. I can Remand my Grapeshot for a lot of Storm, you know. Another Remand, wow. It's a little bit weird, this Remand. Sorry, I guess I should have Manamorphosed first. The Remand is a little bit weird here, because I want to be Remanding my Grapeshot. So like, I guess I am gonna still pass in Flames, right? For Storm count. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. This is I guess it's not actually not like an example of how you would win through a ley line. Don't really see any point in playing Baral here. Yeah, I know not everybody is gonna have the same ability to like interact with chat in this way, and I also know that because I'm like a cis white dude, like I don't get the same like angry group of like people who just harass minorities on the internet all the time. I definitely recognize that, but it just might seem pointless for me to like have these conversations. But for me, I've had like really good results with them. Is all I'm saying. Do I want Blood Moon on the draw? I think I want Blood Moon on the draw, yeah. Do we want to go down a Grapeshot, down like 2 Spikefield hazards? Yeah, we also have Lucy. So here that the stream is boring, we have Lucy. Remember Flame of Anor Chalice? Yeah, I guess they're gonna have like enough, maybe like 2, like not knowing how many chalices they're on, and then like 3rd if we play another one. It's kind of tough to like be bringing in the like the Blood Moons and the Flame of Anors. Could an Electromancer too. Trim Ring. Yeah, I could trim Ring. I mean, Ring is also like pretty good in the matchup. I don't know. I don't like to trim a lot more than 2 Spikefield hazards. I also kind of want some Spell Pierces. I don't know. It's kind of tough. Remand is better than Spell Pierce. I think like being able to like Spell Pierce Bean and Red 6 on the draw is kind of nice, and also like any counter magic Chalice. I don't know, but they just don't play that much counter magic. Run Ring need against elementals. I think the card is good against them. Yeah. So like it's like one thing that the Ring really does in this deck is like when your opponent kills your like Electromancer or Baral, you just slam the One Ring and you draw a ton of cards. And I think that dynamic is still good in this matchup. Pierce is good here. Yeah, I mean they're all good. Like Blood Moon's good, Flame of Anor is good, Pierce is good. We maybe need to play the matchup a few more times to hammer out like what the like right sideboard plan is. You know what I mean? KLB used to trim a Pyretic in slower matchups. Yeah, it's a little bit weird because like in this deck you can like Ritual out Ring, Ritual out Blood Moon, and that's like a better line. I think that like to some extent like I just haven't been wanting to trim the rituals because of this dynamic, but could be the case. Could be a fine choice. One thing too is like as soon as my opponent plays a Bean, I just don't want to play Baral anymore. Like as soon as I play Baral, it's just getting 2 killed and 2 for 1. So this is kind of an interesting thing. Punished for playing not Spirebluff Canal turn 1, I guess. Yeah, like you just like never play Baral here, I think. Or like you're gonna play it on like your Storm turn, probably. But we're not gonna just like run it out and let them get there 2 for 1. The way to play around Bean plus Binding plus Solitude is just don't freaking play cards. Yeah, if I play Blood Moon, they can Binding it. So let's just go for end of turn gifts. Again, this is what's so nice about the matchup. You're just never under any pressure. They don't have that many good cards against you. My opponent's just missing their land drop here. I think against an opponent who's missing a land drop, I'm just gonna untap, hit my land drop. I don't need to do anything. Now I'll cast the Gifts. Hit their land drop, and I don't have another land to play. I already have a Pass in Flames, which makes things kind of interesting. Remand seems kind of nice. Let's go. Yeah, having Pass in Flames is weird here. Do I want another one? They might have. They likely have an Endurance. Maybe just go like Remand, Gifts, Minamo, One Ring. Kind of like this, like they're probably not giving me Remand, but I can play my Blood Moon this turn potentially. I can play the One Ring this turn potentially. I'm just chilling. And I think Endurance is likely enough that I'm not wanting to like just be YOLOing here. Let's see. So as it stands, I'm probably playing Blood Moon with Remand up. I think that's still the case. And then I can, like, if they have Binding, I can Remand Binding, and they get to draw a card, but then they have to spend 3 mana on their next turn to replay it. I guess that's kind of, maybe that's not good enough. I mean, I kind of time walk them. Yeah, I'll Remand it. I'll Remand it. And then I get to untap and start jamming a little bit, maybe. Could also just play a ring. Is it possible to win with no mana reducer and not relying on passive flames? I mean, with the ring, probably it's realistic. You could just like draw enough cards where you're just ritualing Grapeshot, Remand, Grapeshot. It's difficult, but you just, you know, the One Ring, it will let you do that realistically. Like, without it, it's not very realistic. The correct spread of basics for opponent's archetype? I mean, I don't know that you need the basic forest, but probably just basic forest island plains. Is Mana League playable in Pioneer? It's not, no. So we're going for Teferi. Interesting. This means that if I lead on Blood Moon, they're really just not going to be able to do anything else this turn. That's not like a Solitude. Seems like a fine start. Maybe they counter it. One island, one snow-covered island lets you gifts a little bit better. You can gifts for both, which is sometimes relevant with or against Blood Moon. Sage you, huh? So I can't ritual in response anyways because there's a Teferi. Maybe I could have maybe I should have Spikefielded the Teferi here or something. Scalding. Scalding's pretty good. I know they have a Binding. 3, 4, 5. Can't really just go for like... Can't really do anything. Did not really factor Scalding into any kind of calculations. Okay. Seems fine to just like Grapeshot them for 7 here. They're pretty dead next turn if they don't have any graveyard hate, which is maybe asking a little too much. On the other hand is Binding 4 mystery cards. How many I boarded down a Grapeshot, right? Yeah, so I only have 1 more in the deck. Maybe I need to be just keeping all the Grapeshots in. It's just like, you just like wait forever and then you just multiple Grapeshot kill them. Could be a good plan. I'm just tapping up black mana. Interesting. They named Grapeshot and I didn't bring an Empty the Warrens. Yeah, GG. Yeah, Ring does stop Endurance, that's true. Yeah, maybe Ring is bad against them though. So I need an Empty now. I definitely need an Empty. And if they're going to be Unmoored Ego on Grapeshot, boarding in the 3rd Grapeshot makes a little bit less sense. Yeah, I think the fact, like, the big problem here is I just like don't want to jam permanence when they have the Bean out. Maybe the empties are just really good. Let's try like an Empty the Warrens focused plan against them. Let's gotta try to figure out different sideboard plans. Ego, the best underplay card of Modern. I think it's about an appropriate amount of play. It's not a card that a lot of decks have access to, and you don't want to play that many copies of them. And in fact, I think a lot of times these effects can be overrated, but they are good sometimes in some metagames. We want to turn 2 8 goblins on the play? Yes, please. We're jamming. What's Jegantha for? Sometimes you put it into your hand and cast it. And it's free. Alright, your turn. No Scalding. We're not playing Baral. Can't play Baral. Just 8 goblins or 2. 8 Night Memories seems good versus them. I guess. I don't really have any experience playing with it. I don't know if like Caleb Sure really recommends it, but also this matchup I think is just good enough that I'm not like dying to the sideboard Ignite Memories. It is better if they're like all on this Unmorphose plan, which doesn't seem that likely in before Fury. I mean, they still have to deal with the other 4 goblins, you know. And now this goblin too. Yeah, they have to like double Fury. Bounces a goblin token is interesting. So I guess they have a Solitude. Yeah, I know Caleb usually likes one in the side, but you know, I'll say this: even if like specialists of an archetype will like typically like play a copy of a card in the sideboard or something, I don't do it unless I understand exactly like how I'm going to use that card, if that makes sense. I am ignoring the Teferi. So if they have a ring, then we can kill Teferi next turn. No ring. Good luck. Yeah, so they have Fury, they go to 1. Okay. Who would win? Every good card about Apostle's Blessing is if you played Surgical and Apostle's Blessing, you were like technically a 5-color deck. In my opinion, the 1 ring really makes it to where you just don't need to play that kind of card, where if your opponent kills your creature, you just slam the ring, and then you have a huge, massive critical resources, and you've turned this game where your opponent's 1-for-1ing you really hard into a game that just kind of is tough for them to beat. What percentage of my brews and Lord Rings have had a 1 thing? Run ring? Before like the PT, it would have been like 60, 70%. 80 maybe. It's maybe like close to 50-50. But the card is like, it's just like the best card draw spell in Modern, and it's colorless. We have Flame of Anor in the sideboard, but I'm of the opinion that Flame of Anor is not a good main deck card in Storm. This is my current working theory. So, very classic dynamic of Modern. I have a turn 3 kill. Does my opponent have a turn 3 kill here? We'll find out. Gonna be bringing them in this matchup. Yeah, this should be a favored matchup overall, but, you know, one of those. Oh, we lost the die roll. Oh, no. So if they have a Titan, they can cast Titan next turn. I don't know that they can kill me. Not that I can do anything about it, right? So 6, Titan, Haste. They can't double strike, right? I can block here. I don't think they can double strike without a second amulet. Can they Valakut? I think so. If they get bounce land, haste here, which they have to do because they only have 6 mana. Then they have to pick up a land. They have 5. They Integra Titan. Yeah, they should be 1 short of triggering Valakut too, unless I'm missing something. I guess they could have Valakut, Hannah, or Battlements. Yeah, the second amulet, obviously. Second amulet, bounce land, Titan, I'm dead too. But they only have 4 cards. You know, that is 3 of the 4 cards. I guess we know they have a bounce land though, so 2 of the 3 unknown cards. They have Crumbling Vestige? Oh yeah, that would work. Okay. My opponent's Zach Allen, right? Zach's a pretty good player. I teamed with Zach for an energy tournament one time. It's like a Titan player decides to cast the Titan. I like Zach a lot. So there's the Boros Garrison, so maybe no Crumbling Vestige in the deck. Maybe doesn't know the line. I didn't know the line immediately. I just had, with my chat I did. So cute. The cutest ever. Yeah, mostly plays Control. Zach really like the Rin and 6 blue-white lists. Yeah, Lucy is the sweetest dog ever. She's just like, I always wake up in the morning to her tail wagging, and she's just like excited to Start the day. She's a sweet baby. Double Simic Growth Chamber. What does that mean? TOS in hand, I guess? Is Lucy a lapdog? She's kind of just like a lay all over you dog and give you no personal space dog. Which is, I guess, just a medium-sized lapdog. Does Grazer kill? Yeah, Grazer would have killed me, but they would have already played it, I think, to trigger Valakut. Oh. Right. That is one weakness of Storm. Thankfully, oh, no, I can't cast my gifts. Okay, I'm dead anyways. Right, I can't cast gifts. It was looking good for a second, huh? So we're going to bring in Blood Moons and Flame of Anors. Should be down to go down to just one Grapeshot. 2 Spikefield Hazard. Ring doesn't seem that bad. We can trim a ring, though. He does storm off and upkeep. No, because Grapeshot is a sorcery. Passing Flames is a sorcery. This matchup is favored for Amulet for sure, because they can slow you down easier than they can. I don't know. I've got Remand in my deck. Got Remand, Flame of Anor, Blood Moon. But maybe it is, though. We also have more turn 3 kills than they do, I think. One empty for their ring. No, the problem is, like, you're like, even if you board that in, like, your gifts are still turned off. I think we're just gonna, like, remand their rings or, like, play our own ring. Hard to mulligan, like, turn 2 mana creature plus Baral, I guess. Yeah, I would think that this used to be the worst matchup for Titan. Although the fact that they can be a fast ring deck is a good dynamic for them, I agree. Got a lot of good draws here. Blood Moon, Flame of Anor, Gifts Ungiven, Preordain, the One Ring. Okay, more where that came from at least. I know if Jegantha board is there, Meritus sub, good versus Yogg, Merc Titan. I mean, if you want to play a card over Merc or Jegantha, you can. I won't stop you. There's not a sideboard card I want to play more than I want to have access to Jegantha sometimes. Especially because access to Jegantha is, like, really nice against, specifically... Maybe I could have Preordain because now I can't cast Ring if I Preordain into Ring next turn. It's good against specifically Scam, or it's like a way you win sometimes specifically against Scam. It's like, if sometimes you go for the Empty the Warrens plan, and then, like, getting Jegantha's nice. But I will not... If you're a Jegantha hater, I will not, you know, argue with you. Solve with 21 months? Grixis Urza Sword. I just have such a hard time building this archetype. Like, one thing is I always, like, look at these decks, I'm like, I always feel like you're playing too few lands. 22 lands, 2 talismans, but you have, you know, 8 4-drops. It's like... And, like, 4 of your lands are Urza Saga. It's the second Dismember, interesting. Third Dismember? No, it's bogging me. I don't know. I'll get to the deck in a second. Gifts. What do I gifts for here? I can't combo. Maybe we just Preordain and then gifts on their turn. Could do the response to Ring, maybe. Although now I can go gifts with 2 mana floating. Let's just attack and then gifts on their turn. But it doesn't have a lot of resources going on. I'm a little bit worried about them picking up the bog and replaying it. Yeah, it's tough. Like, I look at this deck and it's just so hard to, like, digest looking at it too. I've also been trying to work on a on an Imri Urza Cauldron deck. One problem with the card Goblin Engineer is that card sucks and it's really, really bad. One problem with playing Agatha Soul Cauldron in a deck with 9 creatures, that you only have 9 creatures in your Soul Cauldron deck. You have, you know, 22 lands, 2 talismans in your deck with 8 4-drops. You're playing Fatal Push, Sauron's Ransom, Spell Pierce in a deck that needs to be, like, mostly a synergy deck. Again, I have a really, really hard time with this archetype. Okay. But it could have Endurance here. Volcanic Armada with the 21 months. Thank you. I'm just going to go for the standard pile, though. I don't know. This kind of deck tech is tough because like I'm very aware of all of these problems with the archetype, but this is also like why I haven't streamed like this deck because I haven't been able to figure it out. I am working on it. I am working on it. Like one thing also, your mana sucks. Your mana is so bad. And it feels and I don't know. I feel like to some extent, if you're playing the Agatha Soul Culture plan, you need more creatures. You need to move away from the Thopter Foundry Sword of the Meek plan. It's so hard to play all of these like Sauron's Ransom Fatal Pushes too, but it's also hard to have no interactions. I just don't know. I just don't know. Remand the Endurance, Standard Pile, Wind versus Endurance. Wait, where is this? Where is this magical remand coming from? What a Gifts in the turn? What? Oh, the Gifts are there in the turn. Oh, I totally meant to. Although they just tapped out, and I was okay just waiting on Storm Count. But maybe I could have value Gifts in the turn if I was even scared about Endurance. I don't think I'm scared about Endurance. Like, my opponents had Dismember, Bog. You know, if they kept, like, all the interaction in the world, it is what it is. Maybe I could have kept a Ritual in hand, just in case, but... Although, I guess, like, Zach is maybe... Like, maybe I know Zach well enough that I think he'd concede. Good beats. I guess Summoner's Pact does make Endurance more likely in these spots. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Flame of Anor is a really good draw. My opponent has to pay for Pact. They pitched a Cultivator Colossus. I'm kind of low on Rituals. Oh, they get shuffled back in, so never mind. Ring is a good draw. Flame of Anor, Preordain, Blood Moon, Gifts Ungiven, Remand. All pretty good draws. Oh, yeah, I guess Jegantha's better if you're not just going to forget about her in these kind of spots. Not shuffled in. Well, shuffled into the library if we play Gifts is kind of what I meant, right? But they're in the deck. Pretty good draw, I guess. Double Dismember. Bog, Endurance. Jegantha not enough to save me. Could still draw a ring. Unless we're dead right now. Do they have a land to play? They do have a land. They do have a land drop they could hit. Yeah, usually a matchup I think would be pretty good. We're not 0%. Seems like they can't play the land. If we draw the one ring, we have to draw well after that. Okay, did not find it. Tough stuff. Could have tried to play around Endurance too. It does feel like basically every game we lose, it's like there was maybe something we could have done different.